Okay, so I have just arrived at the site of Dunluce Castle, and this is one of the main castles that I was really wanting to see since I got here. Well, even before I got here. This is actually the castle that they based Cair Paravel from Narnia around when C.S. Lewis wrote the Narnia series, and then they reconstructed the castle for the movie. And I nearly got brought to tears a little bit, but it's really beautiful. So gonna get out and have a look now, and yeah, I'll show you around. Okay, so now you can see I'm actually standing sort of in the section of the outer wall of Dunluce Castle, like the actual site is right down there. So yeah, this is really cool. Okay, so here I am, I'm standing on the bridge that goes across to Dunluce. They're the outer walls over there. As you can see, it's really quite high up. There's a lot of paths and stuff. Oh, there's a cave down there. Interesting. But what happened is a lot of this castle actually came to ruins or fell into the sea. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that wouldn't have been a pretty drop. It's actually really quite amazing standing in this castle right now. So where I'm standing at the moment, this is the manor house. Yeah, this whole section, this is where the family would have, you know, held a lot of their banquets and stuff. And they would have lived in here, and this is where they would have entertained guests. So it's Dunluce. Big open fireplace. Whoa. Yep, definitely a lovely big fireplace. This is gorgeous. So one thing about these old castles is you'll notice a lot of those holes in the walls when you're looking around an old site like this, and usually those old holes would have been where they had big beams of wood. You know, see that section across there would have all been closed off and just been full of beams, and sometimes they'd actually have that as a whole nother level to the building, like an upstairs level. Okay, let's have a look through here. Alright, so this is into the outer sections now. Looks like one of the towers. Alrighty. This could have been potentially one of the guards' houses or a jail. Probably more likely a guard house. But then again, I don't know if that's regular graffiti or whether that's actually old. It's hard to know, but let's go up these stairs in the tower and have a look. Whoa. Okay. So I suppose the other thing is that when you had these big castles up on the edge of the ocean, they would have needed good defence, so this could have been one of the towers where they although there's not that good defence here. I don't know. Whoa. That's crazy. Gorgeous, gorgeous views. Still can't believe I'm standing here. Yeah, okay, so the tower I'm in right now, this is, I just found the information for it. So this is the northeast tower, and it was built at the same time as the southeast tower, which is, if I show you out here without dropping my phone, that's the tower on the other side, just over there. So it was part of the McQuillan Castle. This tower was constructed in an Irish style with a ground floor roof vault. If you look above your head, which is open air, off from the ground floor room, the imprint of the wickerwork during the construction of the vault can be seen. So let's go check that out. Okay, so I'm back downstairs, and yeah, you can see those marks there. So that would have been the imprint of the wickerwork. Cool. Alrighty, so let's go look at the southeast tower now and see how that's different. You can see how they've added on some stuff, you know, occupational health and safety. But it's good in a way, because if they hadn't added on the steps, we wouldn't be able to go and check out the tower. Right, so this is one of the two corner towers constructed with a curtain wall to protect the internal central building. Originally built by the Romans, it was much modified in later years with windows. A number of gun loops can be seen in the tower. So, check this out, this little hole. Here could have been where they kept supplies or ammunitions, I suppose. Then there's a little hole there, so if they had like a gate here to stop people going through, you know, they'd be able to communicate with a soldier or the captain there. Looks like they've blocked off the, we can't go up the steps to this one, so it might be unsafe up the top. That's all good. Well, actually, yeah, totally unsafe because it's all open here. That's where the stairs would have come up. So loophole covering the bridge, and there's a few of these. Okay, so yeah, there's the Manor there, there's the East Tower, there's the North Tower, Northeast Tower. So now we're coming into the kitchen, and yeah, that's what the Northeast Tower is attached to. So you can see there would have been, looks like there was lots of industry happening in here to get stuff happening for banquets. You know, the banquet hall was just in there for when they were entertaining guests, so it was really quite convenient for them to just slip straight through. Here we've got an oven, lovely big oven. Actually, they would have been able to cook some really nice stuff there. Okay, a bit of an air vent thing happening. I suppose the other thing is that in a lot of these castles, and I don't know if that's actually relevant there, but you know, where there was more than 2 stories on a castle, they'd actually have a pulley system so that they could actually pull food up. Okay, so I've come through the halls now into the inner ward area. So this is where a lot of all the regular stuff would have happened that wasn't private for the families. So I'll show you around. Okay, so this is the inner ward. You can see there's different flooring. This is where a lot of the servants used to live. You know, they actually had a lot of wooden partitions up to separate all their rooms and stuff. So these date from the mid to late 16th century, and they had the lodgings and the kitchens of all the staff. There's a few different things in here that are quite interesting. I'm just going to see if I can find some of them for you. Yeah, there's a section of it that, the one section that they think fell into the ocean was the kitchens. So there's a little room here. This might be the room that they were talking about as the latrine. So, you know, just a little private room and holes going out to sea so that you didn't need to flush in the medieval times. So yeah, you know, they still did things quite well. So over there there's a big fireplace section where they would have baked their goods. Actually, it actually says the bakery there, I think. So moving across here. Yeah, so there's a bakery, and yeah, there's a whole other section here, and this is where they think that basically most of the kitchens fell into the sea from this cliff face here. So if we come out here, you can see how there's extra sections that look like they would have been more, you know, hearth sort of areas to cook, and yeah, right here, suddenly there's nothing. Crazy. Oh my goodness, look at those cliffs. The other thing I wanted to point out about this castle is a lot of these rocks. If you look at the shape, how it's hexagonal, a lot of these were taken from the fabled Giant's Causeway, which is literally just down the road, as well as another castle. So that's where I'll be heading next. I've been able to come up 2 hours from where I was staying and pretty well do all these sites that I've always wanted to see all in one sitting. It's really quite magical being here, and who knows, this might be something that I definitely write into my new series. Now there's some sections up there that I wonder if they're part of the original building. You can see right at the top there, the window frames looks like they're original. But then there's a lot of stuff that's being done to preserve and keep it safe too. Yeah, like the wooden beams up there. But it'd be interesting. See, I'd say the extra brickwork on the side there is added on. Potentially those window frames have been added on as well. I suppose, yeah, they would be, because you can see above there they're really smooth, whereas those ones are very old. So they've tried to recreate it as best as, as accurately as they can, and it's not a bad job really. So that's it, Dunluce Castle. And as we come back out of the grounds of Dunluce Castle, it goes into the city, sorry, the village square, I suppose, as you come over the bridge from the main castle, where the family and their servants all resided. You've got up here the little town section, and you have your stables up in the corner. There's a few different things that were listed on the thing which were good. Rightio, there's only a couple of hours of daylight left. I've just paid the money at the visitor centre to go down and do the kilometre walk down here to see the the Giant's Causeway. So this will be really interesting. This is where they actually got a lot of their building rocks and stuff, and they got a lot of materials from the Giant's Causeway to build a lot of castles. So yeah, it's a kilometre walk down the hill. And it's starting to get rather nippy, a little bit. Actually, to be totally honest, this is actually very abnormal for this time of year because, well, if you look on the news at the moment, America's got the negative 30 degrees thing happening. It's crazy. It's the whole global warming thing. It's like the day after tomorrow. Here in Northern Ireland, this time last year, they were digging their cars out of snow. And most of the locals today were walking around with just t-shirts on, and to be honest, when I was in town just before, I didn't have my jacket on, I just had my sweatshirt on. So yeah, it's pretty crazy weather, but at least on the good side, it's allowed me to be able to drive around Northern Ireland, because without, if it had been snowing, I probably wouldn't have been able to get around as much as I have. So it's a good thing. So there's all kinds of myths surrounding the Giant's Causeway and how it was created. Locals like to say that there's magic properties in the hexagonal shaped formations that have formed, and then they've got these wonderful folk stories and folk legends about giants and how they created a bridge to go from the island back to the mainland, and how it got destroyed later on. But you know, the scientific point of view is basically that it's a geological formation that's happened volcanically. But you know, again, there's so many different legends behind it, and nobody really knows the truth. So who knows? You know, there could be. You know, I think the other thing is that it's a very spiritual site. It'll be interesting to see what it feels like down there. It's definitely a very volcanic area. If you have a look at these rock formations here, you know, that is definitely volcanic in origin. You know, who knows how long that's been there. And you know, as the ocean's been rough and crashed on everything and changed the shape of things, all kinds of amazing things could happen. My first glimpse, that's the causeway over there that there's people walking on. Amazing. Why they formed over there and nowhere else is a complete mystery. Okay, I've just arrived at Carrick-a-Reid rope bridge. Now, I may not be able to get in because, well, the sun goes down about 4:30 here at the moment, so potentially it's closed because it's already past the river, or it could be closed because of the weather. But either way, I'm going to go see if I can at least go and have a look. Okay, so the bridge is unfortunately closed to be able to walk across, so I can't conquer the fear of heights this time, but I can still go have a look at it. Now, one thing that's interesting to note about this area is that this was actually used on the film set of Game of Thrones. Particularly the bridge, I think it was used to show the Iron Islands, somewhere along there where Theon Greyjoy lived and his family lived basically. So yeah, I'll show you a bit of a view in a minute. So there's the bridge, the rope bridge. This was what I wanted to conquer, a fear of heights by actually crossing this, but you know what? I was literally an hour too late. And I'm not going to get back to this area for a little while because tomorrow I'm leaving for Limerick. But that's okay, you know, I think I'll be back and the bridge will still be there, ready for another day. But either way, it's raining at the moment, so I'm going to put the phone down and walk back. And back. And back. It's a nice view though. And